chapter 11. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled the house of Judah and Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men that were warriors to fight against Israel, to bring the kingdom back to Rehoboam. But the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and all Israel and Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus saith the Lord, You shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is of me. So they hearkened unto the words of the Lord, and returned from going against Jeroboam. And Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem, and built cities for defense in Judah. And he built even Bethlehem, and Etam, and Tekoa, and Bethzer, and Soko, and Adullam, and Gath, and Mareshah, and Ziph, and Adoraim, and Lachish, and Azekah, and Zorah, and Ajalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and in Benjamin, fortified cities. And he fortified the strongholds, and put captains in them, and store of victual, and oil, and wine. And in every city he put shields and spears, and made them exceeding strong. And Judah and Benjamin adhered to him. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel presented themselves to him out of all their border. For the Levites left their open land and their possession, and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons cast them off, that they should not execute the priest's office unto the Lord. And he appointed him priest for the high places, and for the satyrs, and for the calves which he had made. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the Lord, the God of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the Lord, the God of their fathers. So they strengthened the king of Judah, and he made Rehoboam the son of Solomon strong 3 years, for they walked 3 years in the way of David and Solomon. And Rehoboam took him a wife, Machalath, the daughter of Jeremoth, the son of David, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse. And she bare him sons, Jeush, and Shamariah, and Zacham. And after her took Maachah, the daughter of Absalom, and she bore him Abiyah, and Attai, and Zitzah, and Shelemith. And Rehoboam loved Maachah, the daughter of Absalom, above all the wives of his concubines. For he took 18 wives, and 80 concubines, and begot 28 sons, and 80 daughters. And Rehoboam appointed Abiyah the son of Maachah to be chief, even the prince among his brethren, for he was minded to make him king. And he dealt wisely, and dispersed of all his sons throughout all the lands of Judah and Benjamin, unto every fortified city, and he gave them victual in abundance, and he sought for them many wives. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. We remember the last chapter. Solomon is dead. They went to make Rehoboam king there in Shechem, and the people rebelled. They asked that the taxes be lifted. This levy that was placed upon the people even, but be lightened up. And Rehoboam didn't listen to the elders. He didn't listen to the older men. He listened to the young men, and we'll find out it caused great problems in the nations. But they had already was turning from the law. They was building high places. We'll find this is documented, and they was building these high places, and God was punishing. And this is exactly what God said he was going to do. And he has divided, actually torn the kingdom into pieces. And this is what we're seeing happen in the context of the story. God is punishing Israel and the whole of Israel, not just Israel, these 10 nations, now that he is separated from these other 2. Because we can witness the law. There's got 2 on one side and 10 on the other. The witness even the law, because that will be the redemption made. And this is the witness of which Israel was going to be. We can just take it like that, the whole house. Because in the whole sum of the story, that's what it amounts to. God's showing you he's God. and he does do all this. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled the house of Judah and Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men that were warriors to fight against Israel, to bring the kingdom back to Rehoboam. And now when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, because remember yesterday he had, or in the last chapter, he had sent the tax man, Hadoram, and they went down to collect the taxes, as it was usually due, and the people stoned Hadoram to death and put Rehoboam into the chariot, and he took it back to Jerusalem, and he's come into Jerusalem now. I'm sure he's not a happy fellow, but we'll find that God is doing his work, just like he said he would do. And now Rehoboam is that widened. It's that widened, or that increased, that place made wide for the nations. He was come to Jerusalem, and that's that place of peaceful teachings, and these teachings of peace. He assembled the house of Judah and Benjamin. Judah means praisings, and Benjamin is the son of my right, and even this right hand, or my work, this strength of my work, and the son, or that which goes forth. 180,000 chosen men. And 100 is going to be the judgment. 4 is always the work of God in the score. That's redemption. We witness the law, and even in its fulfillment, he gathers up his army. And these were warriors. These were the fight against Israel, and to bring the kingdom back to Rehoboam. And they was going to go and slay Israel, their brethren, because they had rebelled even against this house of David. There's a covenant made, but this covenant had a qualification, and we can recall that qualification, but they wasn't reminded of it at this point too. But the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, now when Rehoboam gets his army all ready, he's ready to go over there and put a whooping on Israel. But Shemaiah, the man of God, he receives a word from God, and saying, 3, speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel, Judah and Benjamin, saying, and this word that God would have to say unto Rehoboam, and this son of Solomon, this one had come forth from this peace that God had sent. He was the king of Judah, those of praisings, and all those of Israel who were gathered in Judah and Benjamin, as we're going to find out, they came from all over Israel. Israel are those that contend with the mighty one, and to praisings, and they gathered together in Jerusalem. 4, thus saith the Lord, you shall not go up nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is of me. So they hearkened unto the words of the Lord, and returned from going against Jeroboam. So now Shemaiah has told everybody that is gathered up, that he's getting ready to go fight. There's a big ruckus. He said, now you shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house. Everybody go back home. For this thing is of me, it's of God. And they listened to the Lord, and every man returned from going against Jeroboam. We'll find out Jeroboam is this strife God's going to send into the nations. Even this one that's going to cause strife. God's going to use this for an example. 5. And Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem and built cities for defense in Judah. So Rehoboam, he just stays in Jerusalem, and we're going to find out he's going to build these fortified cities, these cities of defense even. 6, he built Bethlehem and Etam and Tekoa, and to build these, and Bethlehem we know was Bethlehem, or Bethlehem, this house of bread, and this house of nourishment. This was already established. This city was already built, but what he did was fortified it. He fortified these cities. And Etam is that nest of the bird of prey. It's like this nest, or a lair, a place to return to of this bird of prey. And Tekoa is that place of warning. Tekoa is a trumpet. It's that blow of a trumpet, even that sounds the warning. 7, and Bet-Zur and Soko and Ajalum, And Bet Zur is that house of the clefts, even that clefts, referring to the place where they can hide, these places they dwell in the clefts of the cliff. And Soko is that place of hedges, or that place that is hedged up, that place that is guarded. It's like protection. It's a protection. Adulam, judgment of the people, is the judgment of the people, or this justice of the people, more that the people should have justice and judgment. 8, and Gath, and Metashah, and Ziph, and Gath is the wine press. Gath is that place of wine press where they bring the harvest to be squeezed, pressed down, and Metashah is at the top. It means in the high place. It's like the head. It's that appointed place. It's the head of it, the controller, we would think. And Zeph, that pours out this pitch. And that pours out this pitch, this place, even a pitch. 9, and Adoraim, and Lachish, and Azekah, and Adoraim is that great majesticness. Is the raised up to great heights and magnificence. And Lachish is the invincible. It's invincible. It's impenetrable. And Azekah, that which is dug in. It's dug in. It's just like a position. It's a position that's been created. It's dug in. It's invincible. And it's in the high places. Or on the hill. 10. And Zorah, and Ajalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and in Benjamin, these fortified cities. And Zorah were hornets. Man, we remember these hornets. God said, I'll send the hornets in. And these are the workers for God, and they go around and they do punish, and they do have stings. The ability to inflict pain and discomfort. And Ajalon is that field. Ajalon is the field of a stag ram, and that is it's open. It's this open land all around this one who's alone in strength. And Hebron are that association which are in Judah. That's that place of praise, and in Benjamin, and that's this one that goes forth, even this son of the work. 11. And he fortified the strongholds and put captains in them, and store of victual and oil and wine. And these fortified strongholds that would be made, these cities of fortification, he put captains in them, and these would be the ones who would rule over them and see over their protection, that to store up the victuals. And these stores of victuals are anything that was needed, all these things that were needed, this oil and this wine. Oil is always going to be that from the olive. It's that anointing, that which anoints, and this wine. And that's anointing even of the wine, the effects that it would cause, because God does control it. 12. And that wine is that which comes from the harvest. It's put in and squeezed, and this pureness comes out in the beginning. And then after a while, it ferments, and it takes on a different effect. 12. And in every city he put shields and spears, and made them exceedingly strong, and Judah and Benjamin adhered to them. And in every city, a city's a place of protection, a place that has a guard, he put these shields, and these shields are a representation of these covenants, and these spears, those things that we can cast forth are like a truth that can be used and thrown from your hand or from your work. He makes them exceedingly strong. Judah and Benjamin adhered to him, and we're going to find out this would be the nations that are being divided out. 13. And the priests and the Levites that were all in all Israel presented themselves to him out of all their borders. And all the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel, all scattered out in all these other nations, that come and present themselves unto Rehoboam there in Jerusalem. See, they're going to come there to get their order. These Levites are those ones that are going to join. And we'll find out. They come out of all Israel to maintain their orders, to as ordered, even as their prescribed order would be according to the law. See, they would come to Jerusalem to keep their order, because we'll see why. 14, for the Levites left their open land and their possession and came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam and his sons cast them off. They should not execute the priest's office unto the Lord, because Jeroboam and his sons run them out of there. See, they run them out of there because they were in violation of the law. We're going to find out what they do. Jeroboam, this one, is going to cause the nations to strive, or he's going to be the strife of the nations even. Him and his sons. Those are those that are going to go forth from him. 15, and he appointed him priests for the high places, and for the satyrs, and for the calves which he had made. And he appointed him priests for the high places. And we'll find anybody that wanted to be a priest, anybody that could afford it, anybody that wanted to come and do these things, offer 7 bullocks or something. We'll find out. It's written. It's all written. It was a bullock and 7 rams. He appointed him priest. Now these priests, and for the satyrs, these satyrs, King James says devils, but this word is satyrs, these things of sacrifice, and it refers to these he-goats, or that's a whole other subject. And for the calves which he had made, and these calves which he had made, we would find out about those calves he had set up to be worshipped. See that? These alternative altar that he had made at these places to be worshipped. That's what these calves are, Ba'a. They are these images that he made, these golden images. He said, these are your gods, Israel, and they fell away. And this would be the great sin. This would be the great sin. They made an image and said, this is God. And they would err greatly. 16, and after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the Lord, the God of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the Lord, the God of their fathers. And after that, out of all the tribes of Israel, anybody that wanted to worship God that still was in obedience to the law of God which he made, saying, you shall not make yourself an idol, came to Jerusalem. And that's that place of peaceful teaching, those places of teachings of peace. We'll find out. God was going to make an example of, to sacrifice unto the Lord, the God of their fathers. 17, so they strengthened the kingdom of Judah, and made Rehoboam the son of Solomon strong 3 years. For they walked 3 years in the way of David and Solomon. And so they strengthened, and this fortified all of Judah, and this made Judah great. These people were coming from all of Israel into Judah and into Benjamin, and they were fortifying it by their numbers even for 3 years. See, these 3 years, Rehoboam, one who would widen or increase that of the nations, the son of Solomon, this peace that God sent, would for 3 years, see, walk and the way of David. These 3 years, it's going to complete the greater understandings, even these 3 years, in the way they did go before David. And David did return to the Lord when he sinned. And Solomon, that peace that God gave. David is the beloved, that chosen one. 18. And Rehoboam took him a wife, Mahalat, the daughter of Jeroboam, the son of David, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse. And Rehoboam takes him a wife, Mahalat, the daughter of Jeroboam. And Mahalat is a beautiful weakness. It's this feminine weakness, or this sickness. We remember Mahalat, but this is Mahalat. It's a beautiful weakness, I call it. And she is the daughter of Jeroboam, and the daughter is to This understanding that can go forth of Yeremot, this one whom was raised up, and Abihail also would be the wife. This understanding that Rehoboam would take. Abihail is my father's might, and might different than strength. As might is the ability that you do. Strength is the strength you have to do something, but the might is the ability to do it. And that she would be the daughter of Eliab, and the daughter is that even that understanding that goes forth of Eliab, and that's the mighty one of father, the son of Jesse, and that was that prominent one, that one who would stand out even in possession. 19. And she bore him sons, Yeush, and Shemariah, and Zacham. This would be the sons that Abihail would bear, would be Yeush, and this is that one that would hurry to help. He would hurry to help. And Shemariah, those that are guarded by God, these ones that are guarded, they are watched over by God. Zacham, these are the loads, these ones that God is going to separate out. 20. And after her he took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, and she bore him Abiah, and Attai, and Zitzah, and Shelomit. And after her he took Maacah, and this would be the daughter of Abishalom, not Absalom. And Absalom didn't have no children. Absalom got caught up with his hair in the tree there. Remember, and this is Abishalom. This was this little typo they made here. And Abishalom is this as my father's peace, or even my father's covenant of peace. Maacah was the daughter, even that understanding that would go forth from it. Maacah is this oppressed, these that are being oppressed. And she bore him Abiah, and that my father is good. And Attai is this my opportunity, even those of opportunity, and these opportunities. And Zitzah, this unknown abundance of life. And Shelomit is those of peace, and those that of this covenant of peace. 21. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines. And Rehoboam would love Maacah. Maacah, those that are oppressed. She was the one who come forth from the understanding of my father's covenant, above all his wives, these understandings, even of those his concubines, those that would bring forth or add to. For he took 18 wives, and these 18 wives, these understandings, even this new beginning of the law, and 60 concubines, these that would bring forth or add to this complete redemption, or this you can completely witness the law thereby, that is redemption. And he begot 28 sons, and 28 sons there would he have to witness the law, that's redemption, and this new beginning, going forth, these sons, and this 60 daughters, even to complete the redemption of these understandings that would go forth. And we're going to find out, we're going to find out what the kings are going to do. That's these that are going to go forth. 22, and Rehoboam appointed Abiah, the son of Maacah, to be chief, even the prince among his brethren, for he was minded to make him king. And Rehoboam, he appointed Abiah, and he was already choosing Abiah, this widened, Rehoboam, the widened, or that which is increased of the nations, this addition to the flock, we'll find out, appointed Abiah, and that's my father's God. He's the son, or that which went forth from those that were oppressed, to be the chief, even the prince among his brethren. For he was minded, Rehoboam was minded to make Abiah the king. 23. And he dealt wisely, and dispersed of all his sons throughout all the lands of Judah and Benjamin unto every fortified city. And he gave them victual in abundance, and he sought for them many wives. And he dealt wisely. We'll find out. For the most part, he did deal wisely, and dispersed of all his sons throughout all the lands of Judah. And those that would go forth from him, his sons, he would send them through all the land of Judah and Benjamin. That's that place of praisings, and this son of my right hand, this one goes forth with my work. These places, their cities, their fortified cities that he built up, those places with the guard, and he gave them victuals in abundance, all the things they would need. We'll find, and he sought for them many wives. These many wives, or many understandings. God said, you shall not number yourself in many wives, lest they lead your heart astray. And we're going to find out God's going to make an example. God's always working in the law. See, and the law's always working. We can witness this if we watch for these things, and we'll find out this is exactly what's going to happen. We're going to move forward. Chapter 12. God says turn and return. Turn and return.